name Jose Marcos Garcia is an important one to the Albuquerque arts community, and you can now acquaint yourself with his work at Marco, now showing at the National Hispanic Cultural Center.
Marco celebrates the work of artist Jose Marcos Garcia. Garcia carved political figures, popular heroes, santos, and so much more out of small pieces of wood. A collection of his life's work can be seen at the National Hispanic Cultural Center's Community Art Gallery.
Well, the Community Art Gallery is really important to the NHCC Art Museum. It's the heart of the museum, and it came about because so many artists and arts activists in New Mexico and in Albuquerque were really sort of the founders of the center, of the National Hispanic Cultural Center. But the first couple of years, national shows were shown, and so the artists who had been helped build this place felt a little left out. So in 2006, we heard them and listened, and so this Community Art Gallery is dedicated to only New Mexican artists.
Okay, and you've got one right now featured that is pretty important to Albuquerque artists. I think he's got a very cool story. So tell us a little bit about Jose Marcos Garcia.
He does have a very cool story, and the only time we ever do one-person shows in the museum is when somebody is deceased, and they're part of our Nuestros Maestros series. Somebody who contributed so much, but their story has gotten really overlooked. So Jose Marcos Garcia, who carved his work and signed it Marco, is one of those artists. He's interesting because he sold his work in the flea market in the 1970s and 80s here in Albuquerque, and so many people who became important to the arts collected his work. And when they talk about visiting him in the flea market, their eyes light up because they would visit him every Saturday and look to see what he had. And they built their collections. And you know, I had always heard of him, but we didn't really find his last name and his story until a couple of years ago. And we're really excited to be able to tell it.
Telling the story required cooperation between exhibitors and citizens who amassed their collection of Garcia's work over the years. Not an easy feat when the point of sale is a flea market.
How did you gather the works that are on display?
We have, I think, 23 lenders. We found the family, we found collectors. There was an article in New Mexico Magazine, so people came forward before the exhibit. Since the exhibit, we've had a number of people come in and say they have a Marco and would we want to borrow it. And so we've actually added to the exhibit since the opening in February. And it's just a matter of being a good detective. It's from reading too many Nancy Drew books. That's what it is.
See, it pays off to read
Nancy Drew. It pays off to read
kids.
Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys.
So for more information on Marco, the National Hispanic Cultural Center, and the Culture Pass, head over to casa.com.